Hello everyone, this is Zooc, and today I'm bringing you a new logo design video. This one is going to be something called ArtikChill. And as much as I wish it was for an energy drink company, it is not. It's actually for a guy that's just starting up his streaming business. And he wanted a package with the logo, Twitch banner, YouTube banner, and whatever else taking that up entails. But the main deal obviously was the logo, and so his nickname is ArtikChill. So don't rip on me because of that spelling. It wasn't my deal. It's his name. So the concept of this project was rather simple. I wanted to make something ice themed, since you can't really do much with a name like that. Unfortunately, the problem that arises sometimes with logo projects is that the names don't relate in any way to the business. And this has happened quite a few times with actual businesses, where the name is just something random that they like the ring of, and it relates in no way to what they do. So it's a bit more difficult to try and incorporate the object of their business into the logo without making something that looks like completely dissonant or incongruent, better said. So I decided to just go with something generic that's at the line between something personal and something that you would see on a frozen yogurt bottle at the supermarket or something like that, because you don't want to go too much into the commercial thing, because there is a trend going about. If you look at a lot of labels in supermarkets, especially in the US, they're very colorful, they pop very well, they're eye-catching, and they're meant to be so. But the thing is, with a name like this, you don't want it to look like a bottle of or a tub of ice cream, especially since it's a name that would, under some circumstances, be chosen for something like that. But anyway, it was meant to be something ice themed, so I started off with an outline of a basic font, and then I modified it by hand to make it look icy and sharp and irregular, like a normal ice text or ice shape would look like in nature. And then I just scanned it, traced it in Illustrator. But the most difficult thing with projects like this, because it is a simple project, but the complexity lies in the amount of tweaking that you have to do after you've established kind of what you're going with. Unfortunately, Illustrator has a tendency to blow certain things up, and it still has quite a few bugs when it comes to commands such as offset path. Quite often it doesn't really produce the results that you're looking for, so there's a lot of tweaking to be done by hand. And it would be too easy if it was just boom, boom, done, just 2 commands and that's it. So I'm not complaining about it, but yes, there is a lot of tweaking to be done after the fact, simply because the shapes don't align properly, or the offset path doesn't quite correspond with the shape that you started off with. But something that has been making my life easier the past few months, I found this website called Astute Graphics. And what they do is, and I'm not endorsed by them in any way here, it's just a personal recommendation. They have an entire line of plugins for Illustrator and people working with design and Photoshop and Illustrator, but it's mostly for vector work that make my life a hell of a lot easier. And I recommend to anyone that dabbles in logo design or Illustrator work of any kind to give that a look. They're paid, they're not free, but I think that they're actually worth it in this case. A lot of times these plugins are meant for like an easy buck. They're cheap and they're bad, and people make a lot of them. There's a lot of plugins out there that do basic commands that you could do by hand. It just takes a few seconds more, and they cost like $1-2. But these are actually quite hefty in price. Like the most expensive one I think costs about $85. And I'm currently trying out the trial version of it, and I might actually dish out the money for that, because I think it's indeed worth it. It has a lot of... It's pointless for me to try and describe it now. They have like an entire page for each one of them, and you can check out the features there. But one thing that's always bugged me, that I've always wanted to fix, is this plugin called Vector Scribe has a brush which basically erases redundant points and their anchors. So that's awesome, because often when I draw by hand, or when I cut shapes with the Pathfinder tool, a lot of them leave behind a lot of redundant points, which I then have to delete by hand, because the simplify path command in Illustrator, unfortunately, is pretty crappy. But this brush, you can set the tolerance for it, and it basically deletes all redundant points while at the same time keeping the shape of the object, which is great because not only does it makes it much faster to work with big stuff with a lot of points like overlaid shapes and all that, but it also makes the file size smaller and less chance of a critical error. Unfortunately, Illustrator is still prone to crashes after all this time, and the automatic recovery feature sometimes works and sometimes doesn't work. And when it doesn't work, and I've had this happen to me quite a few times, when it crashed and I lost everything because it wouldn't recover the file. So something like that is pretty good, just to make everything as light as possible, just to avoid freezes and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, if you do work with Illustrator, I recommend giving that a shot and at least trying out the trial versions. I think they have like 2 weeks trial. And I'm sold. I'm personally sold. Because I do so much work in Illustrator, these plugins are actually quite amazing. And it's worth paying for. It's an investment in your time, after all. So lately I've been, well, not lately, but for the past 2 days I've been working on the new Cynical Brit, fucking Romanian, Cynical Brit t-shirt. And I have come up with a design that I think is the winner. John was very excited about it. I personally love it as well. It's something that I would wear, even though I don't really wear t-shirts as they are. I usually just wear them under shirts. But it's kind of reminiscent of the All Fanboys Must Die t-shirt, which was one of the most successful, well, the most successful one we had. And so I think people are going to be kind of hyped about that. Unfortunately, I didn't film the design process, but I might rebuild it from scratch. That's what I usually do with projects like this. I make a fast sketch, not by hand, but in Illustrator to show people, and then I take it from the beginning and rebuild everything very carefully and align it properly and center it and whatnot. So I'll probably film that just to show you guys after the t-shirt is released. So I'm hyped because this was an idea that I've been struggling with for a long time now, coming up with a design that fits the idea. So hopefully that'll be a success. But anyway, thanks for watching. Please rate that shit. This has been ArtikChill. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks again. Bye-bye.